What up everyone, it's Charizard and welcome back to another Pokemon video. I posted my Pokemon Stars video the other day and you guys absolutely loved it. I just wanted to say you guys were awesome for the support. But today guys, we have a very special video that I'm so excited to share with you guys. I've been researching this for a while and I'm finally ready to put the points together. So let's start off with the question. Is there anything in Pokemon Sun and Moon that seems, off? Anything come to mind? Okay, keep that thought. Maybe put in the comments. Whatever it is that Pokemon Sun and Moon included, they did something known as maintaining continuity. They made it so that the game doesn't retcon anything in previous games. Retconning is pretty much inconsistency. When something is consistent and you want to change something as a story writer. If you guys want to know what I mean by this, look at Gen 1, a Pokemon known as Magmar. Fast forward to the next gen and we find Mag B. But why couldn't we find it all this time? It's because it's a baby Pokemon. Then in Gen 4, we find Magmortar. Why couldn't we find it either? Because it needed a Magmarizer, something not found in previous games. You see what I mean? So in the same way, they made it seem like certain things that happen in the game happen for a legitimate reason. For example, Ride Pokemon existing is because of the open nature of Alola and how Pokemon are inclined to feel more free in it. So now that you know Sun and Moon tries to maintain continuity, is there anything that comes to mind that's off? What about Alolan forms? They haven't existed all this time, then suddenly this region has exclusive region variant forms. Well, even this is within Pokemon's continuity. For example, for Sandslash, it is never needed to live in such a cold environment, and if you look in Kanto, there's no cold environments to live in. I talk about all these origins to these Alolan forms in my top 5 original forms video, where I explain, for example, the origin to Golem's Alolan evolution being not natural. Another great example in that video is Dugtrio. Alolan Dugtrio would have formed in Kanto had there been a passage between Cinnabar Island and the rest of Kanto. Remember, the volcano erupts before the Gen 2 games, and that's exactly how Alolan Dugtrio would form. That's what I mean. They chose Dugtrio to evolve in this volcanic condition because it couldn't evolve in that volcanic condition previously. Even for Vulpix, its other form was hinted before Sun and Moon. Did you know that? In Pokemon Go, it states that Vulpix are born with one white tail for some reason. It almost causes a debate between whether the Snow Vulpix could be the original or the Fire Vulpix could be the original. So now, Alolan forms are also out of the way. Is there anything else that's in Sun and Moon that seems just a little off? Well, maybe you mentioned it, but it's Z crystals. What are Z crystals? Think about it for a second, and where do they come from? Have you ever thought about that? Because they are maintaining continuity, and if these Z crystals exist in Alola, there's gotta be a reason. Well, what if I told you that Z crystals have always existed in Pokemon, in every single region? Just like the things I mentioned before, Pokemon has maintained continuity even in this little Z-band you get. You wear it in this region and it grants you extra power to use for you and your Pokemon to share. They call it Z-Power, and you can use it to launch a Z move or power up a normal move. If you ask me, the main question is, where did these Z moves come from? You're telling me that after 6 non-Z crystal gens that Z moves exist, that someone could just come from Alola to Kanto and just wreck house. They even showed that in Sun and Moon, constantly connecting the two regions, even though Alola should be so unheard of with all the things it offers over Kanto, especially those overpowered Z rings. So, does it sound possible that Z-Rings could have always existed in Pokemon? Well, let's see. The whole traditions in Alola are about doing these island trials and learning about Alolan traditions. If you rise to Trial Captain, you run a trial site and help train others. If you rise to enough power to become Kahuna, you are selected by a Tapu and help lead the region. This has been going on for a long time. Kiawe's grandfather was a Kahuna in the anime and gave him his Z-Ring. In the games, Hapu's grandfather was the Kahuna but passed away, leaving Hapu's family, who was well into the tradition, to become the next one. We also have researcher Samson Oak, who's been studying Alola under those top secret documents in Oak's lab. I bet you while Red and Blue are taking place, in continuity, Alolan traditions have been going on and Alolan forms and Z crystals existed then. But I'm not just gonna sit here and list different time points to prove that these traditions have been going on. I want to take you back to our thought process back then, because this is really interesting. Before Sun and Moon came out, a lot of speculation was going on the newly revealed Z crystal mechanics. We knew that Z crystals worked by having a Z ring and a Pokemon holding a Z crystal. Soon we realized that for a Pokemon like Arceus, Z rings would be pretty useless. And we started to make fun of Arceus, as all it can use is a normal Z move. Why waste a fighting type Z move if it needs to be holding a plate in the first place? Well, it turns out, when Sun and Moon came out, everything changed. Because even within Pokemon Sun and Moon, if you give Arceus a Z crystal, it changes its form. Its form changes. give it a Fightinium, and it becomes a fighting type. And then its Judgment becomes fighting, and then now it has a fighting move to use its Z move. It used to be a waste, but now it's beyond perfect to use a Z Crystal with Arceus. Every one of the 18 Z Crystals activate the same form change as the plates. Arceus has no need to use these plates in the game. Do you know why? Because these 18 plates are the Z Crystals. In all other regions, these plates are spread across in multitudes. You find so many versions of these plates, and the energy within it always boosted a Pokemon's element. Give it to a fighting type, it boosts it by 20%. It was a weaker Z Crystal, in fact, almost like the power is sealed and latent. In Alola though, these traditions have taught them to cultivate these plates into Z Crystals, releasing their inner power and using them with their Pokemon to release true elemental power. It makes absolute sense. That's the point. In every game, you see these plates for Arceus and wonder what they are. They are the seeds of life. But if you go to Alola, they've learned to release the power inside the plates and turn it into a Z Crystal. And that is the truth. Z Crystals have always existed in Pokemon. How cool would it be if in Sinnoh remakes, you can find these plates and take it to someone who can turn it into Z Crystals? Wouldn't it be an epic way to get Z Crystals in the post-game, just like we got Megas in the Sun and Moon post-game? It's really interesting, isn't it? But there is a lot more from where that came from. We're just getting started. Look out for the second part to this video where we go even further. So anyways, guys, hit that like button if you enjoyed the ride this video took you on. I wanted to make this video first on Z Crystals and then get your thoughts on this. So let me know what you think. Are plates the uncultivated form of a Z Crystal? Are Alola's ancient traditions passed down from Hala, Kiawe's grandfather, and the previous era about Arceus' plates and how to synchronize with its power? All that we'll find with due time. So anyways, guys, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it, and also be sure to subscribe if you're looking out for the second video. I promise you guys are gonna love it. But as always, guys, I will see you later. Peace.